Good morning, everyone. My name is Isam Shah, and I lead employer partnerships at the MENA at Correlation One. I am very pleased to be your MC for today. To start off, we'll start with our very first panel titled U.S. Business Imperatives in MENA, Demand, Implementation, and Scalability. The panel will be moderated by our Senior Vice President for Strategic Growth, Mr. John Nelson, and they'll be joined by leaders from Concentrix, Microsoft, and Iron Mountain. And without further ado, John, over to you.
Thank you, Yazan. Good morning, and thank you all for being here today. I'm really excited to be moderating today's panel, and as Yazan said, entitled U.S. Business Imperatives in MENA, Demand, Implementation, and Scalability. Today's discussion focuses on how U.S. companies are expanding in Jordan and across the MENA region by tapping into the region's growing technology talent, while also exploring how targeted U.S. government workforce development initiatives can accelerate that growth. Over the past few years, the global tech labor market has fundamentally shifted. Companies are hiring fewer roles, but the roles they do hire are far more critical. Demand is now concentrated in areas like data analytics, cybersecurity, cloud infrastructure, and AI-enabled operations, the skills that directly affect productivity, security, and competitiveness. As AI reshapes how work gets done, companies are rethinking where and how they build their teams. As a result, many U.S. firms are increasingly viewing Jordan and the broader MENA region as strategic talent and delivery hubs. These teams are not substitutes for U.S. labor, but rather globally aligned extensions of U.S. operations, bringing strong technical skills, regional expertise, and the ability to operate effectively in local markets. U.S. government workforce development programs play an important enabling role in this ecosystem. By aligning AI-relevant training with employer demand and direct job placement, these programs reduce hiring risk, accelerate time to productivity, and ensure that talent is trained on U.S. platforms and operating standards. At the same time, they create high-quality jobs and strengthen the long-term economic resilience of our key U.S. allies. At Correlation One, we're very proud to support these efforts by working with government and industry to translate policy goals into measurable workforce outcomes. Today's panel brings together leaders who are building and scaling U.S. operations and companies in Jordan and across the region. They're on the front lines of this growth, and they'll share practical insights on what it will take to sustain momentum and scale responsibly in the years ahead. So with that, I'd like to introduce our panelists. From Concentrix, Mr. Waed Al-Wamde, the Managing Director of Jordan and Saudi Arabia. From Microsoft, Ms. Hiba Dabas, the Middle East and Africa Customer Success Lead. And from Iron Mountain, Mr. Rakan Mashning, the General Manager for Jordan, Qatar, and Oman. Before we jump into the conversation, I'd like to ask each of you to spend a few minutes just on your personal background and your personal journey.
Salah khair, and thanks for having me today.
I joined WebHelp at the beginning in 2019, and today we're in Concentrix under the same, category of business process outsourcing and such kind of industries.
Thank you, that's so great. We're going to go into a little more detail later in how Concentrix is grown, but it's wonderful to know your personal journey, so thank you.
Thank you.
Hiba, I'd love to ask you the same question.
So my academic background is, funny enough, is in agricultural engineering. And once I finished that, I thought to myself, maybe I want to shift and move towards more into the business world. And since I started working in the first outsourcing company in Jordan, and I became more familiar with companies like Microsoft, government projects like CISA, HP, and so on. Moving forward into that, I started to build my capability and capacity. Then I went to doing my master's degree in management, And eventually I moved to Autodesk. And I acted like the sales director and site lead for Autodesk Jordan. After that, I moved on to Microsoft.
Excellent. And agricultural engineering, it's fascinating, just kind of how you have leveraged that into all these other things from a business perspective.
Absolutely. Like if we look at technology, honestly, it's everywhere. It's what we call in Microsoft and in the word is the AI diffuser. You can see AI in every industry, in every role. It's industry role agnostic, and I think people need to be really aware of how the future of jobs and industries is working.
Thank you so much. Rakan, would love to hear your personal journey.
First of all, I want to thank you for this event today, and I'm looking forward to talk with you, all of you, and share our experiences. I started as an industrial engineer, actually, but on the side of that, I used to have a passion for technology and how things are growing these days, or actually from these old days. Beginning of my career, I started a company called Infofort. It's a records management company, same as Iron Mountain, let's say, but it was a subsidiary of Aramex. And at that time, I used to work mainly in the records management field, and the storaging of it. And I realized that it from scratch, from handling it in my own hands, And through all of that time, with the growth that I was seeking through that in the company, I managed to reach the top of the operations. I used to manage supporting of the commercial team by that time, till I reached the level of achieving the management of the commercial and the operations by that time. Till in 2021, I think, Iron Mountain, which is the company I used to dream about joining, honestly, has did an acquisition over Infofort, and now I'm with them. So all of that time, we managed to expanding in Jordan, and expanding our services through protecting what mattered the most. Starting with the records by that time, and now with the information management and security workflows, and recently with the data centers as well. So a huge shift, a huge growth with the technology that's going on, with a growing company that started in 1951 and expanding over 70 countries now. So yes, that's a brief about me.
Thank you so much for sharing those journeys, because fascinating backgrounds. And I think it also just speaks to there's no one path, there's no one kind of educational path is going to lead you to success and leadership. So I'm going to kind of broaden the scope a little bit to start with. And I'd like to start by looking at the overall business landscape in Jordan and MENA. So my question is beyond just costs. What factors make Jordan and MENA a compelling choice for business investment? And what lessons does that offer for U.S. companies expanding responsibly in Jordan and the MENA region? Hiba, if I could, I'd like to start with you.
So I think for Jordan, and it's a good thing you mentioned the cost part. And this is where I want to articulate a very important. It's about affordability and quality, and no company should have that as a compromise, And I was so happy to hear in the opening statement where it was highlighted that Jordan benchmarks exceeds the global benchmarks in terms of the quality, in terms of the retention rates. So I think Jordan is positioned in a very strong place in terms of affordability and quality. Moreover, if we look at the Jordanian talent here, we can see a very highly dense and agile talent based out of Jordan. And this is a key factor for the success of any organization. And I totally believe that the efforts done in Jordan, whether from the public-private sectors collaboration is deliberately addressing this in terms of how they are actually building a relevant talent pipeline to address the actual market, future market demand, and they are making sure that the supply from this country is totally aligned with that.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Rakan, what do you see as kind of the special attributes of Jordan and MENA for business growth?
For any company, what we always look for is the stability, you know. And Jordan is well known for stability and safety, you know. The digitization that's going on and that's rapidly growing on with the regulations and all of these, we view that Jordan is not just a growth market. It's a place where you can find the suitable talents and where they have the potential to grow your business and grow the people as well, you know, which will reflect on the community by itself. It's not just about data centers, about this stuff, you know. In Jordan, you know, you can have the whole operations execution, you can have the information governance, you can have the service delivery and client facing. So yeah, Jordan is especially Jordan is a great country to grow all of these talents. Yeah.
Fantastic, thank you. So we'd love to hear a little bit more about what you see as some of the very unique and special attributes that make Jordan, and MENA more broadly, but Jordan in particular, such a great place to do business.
Well, I think there's nothing better than bringing the story of founding Concentrix here in Jordan, because it was fundamentally built on the main factors why Jordan. Mm-hmm. And I believe it took us like a good 1 year to scout and explore the region around the Middle East in order to figure out which country is our right shore in terms of the expansion we're intending to have in the Middle East. And back at that time, I remember that we didn't have any other site around in the Middle East. And once again, I think talent was one of the most aspects and factors that impacted the decision of opening here. When we say talent, I think Jordan has this young population, which is very or highly educated. And again, the tech-savvy resources and human capital that you can find here in this country, and the willingness to learn and the adaptability as a soft skill, I think it's a key for such kind of US companies to come and build a business here. At the same time, looking at the country itself, I think my colleagues mentioned that or highlighted it earlier, the stability, whether economy or politically. We're in a good stage despite whatever is happening around this region and the geopolitical situation that we've been living with for many, many decades now. And we must also, once we start building such kind of large organizations, let's say, we need to have the right infrastructure. So without having the right setup and the right, the redundancy needed for building such kind of big organizations, that might be a fail. But again, here in Jordan, we do have robust infrastructure in terms of electricity grid, and also the internet connectivity and the way that can support such kind of, or to enable companies to build business here.
Now that is perfect. And would you consider kind of where Concentrix is, you built a hub here in Jordan or in the MENA region?
Yeah, actually, when we started, since that was the first site in the Middle East, we started with few people here in Jordan, and that would take us to the story of when we started back in 2019.
And why don't we segue into that, because it's perfect. You could maybe talk about that growth, phenomenal growth with Concentrix.
Sure. So we started our business back in 2019, and I remember that we were like 60, 70 people at that time. And at the beginning of 2020, we all know what happened to the world. COVID hit, and it was not a pleasant start for such kind of company that kicked off the operations. Now, for such an organization, Concentrix is a a global leader in the customer experience and technology industry. And we do have presence in 70 plus countries, and we're talking about 450,000 people worldwide. Jordan might still be, a small site relatively to such kind of ecosystem. Still, I think we have managed to sustain our business and operations and to make sure that we're delivering up to our standards at that time. After COVID, 2-3 months later, we were thinking not only of us as Concentrix, but also of the impact that we need to create on the community itself, which we initiated an initiative called Thinking Human. And our role as Concentrix was to shed the light on the importance of such kind of companies to create job opportunities, where we took the responsibility to hire 350 people within 2020, which we managed to achieve eventually with the support of the public partners and others. And we're happy to say today that we're over than 3,000 game changers. This is the way we call them in the country, in 2 different cities actually, in Amman and Terabit. And again, I believe without having the what we earlier highlighted in terms of the talent, the ecosystem, everything in this country, we wouldn't have reached that far in terms of the growth and the exponential success stories that we managed to achieve in Jordan.
And can I just a follow-up question, to grow that much in such a short period of time, to that talent, how do you find it? How do you screen for it?
Well, actually, we're working with different industries in our domain. So it's not necessarily that you're looking for fresh grads. Sometimes you're talking about people with the needed, let's say, subject matter experts or technical backgrounds. And for us, we have to have the right tools, resources within the organization in order for us to find the right talent. And once again, even though we do have a wide pool of great talent in the country, but in order for such kind of US companies to build the right kind of standards in Jordan and to deliver up to our clients' global standards, we have to pay a lot of attention to the talents that we're hiring and the way that we're working on. So basically, we're relying on our existing resources, or we were at the beginning relying on those existing resources and our existing tools to scan, test, and make sure that we're having the right talents. Luckily, we do have very low attrition or turnover numbers within our teams, which is a great insight that we have managed to select the right people. And today with Correlation One, I believe that we're gonna add more, let's say, kind of sophisticated way of looking at things in a positive way that can help us bring the most talented people and maybe tap into other cities or other talents in the market.
Fantastic, thank you. You mentioned earlier about Iron Mountain's transition or transformation from kind of a document storage company to really a whole digital strategy fueled by AI. Can you kind of walk us through that development, how Iron Mountain has kind of gone through that set of changes and how you have had to lead kind of the operation to kind of fulfill that?
Okay, so as I have mentioned, Iron Mountain has started as a records management company. You used to manage the life cycle of the records, from just being a paper that has started into the shredding of it. But through all of that time, and with the digitization and what the growth is going on, the main purpose was for Iron Mountain is not just the record itself. It was about protecting and securing the data, the information itself. And with that, the shifting has started, from just records lifecycle management into that information lifecycle management, which has led us to go into the digital transformation, the workflows that you are talking about, and that should be now powered by AI, because in the end, you are not just an operations of that's going on. You are talking about now shifting from just operational work into a work that can optimize your processes, optimize your information, how you visualize your information, how you can make your decision taking better, because in the end it's all about decision making and how you look at your data, how you can optimize them, how you can see them, and that's what Iron Mountain is doing. And of course that required a lot of talents, starting from the talents that used to handle the operations itself into the talents that now have a good understanding of AI and know how to work with the data itself and how we can achieve this life cycle management of the information for our clients, from all fields, whether from financial, banking, government, and all the sectors.
Fantastic. And we're going to go into a little more detail about specific talents you all are admiring for a little later. So we'll get into that. Hiba, recognizing that Microsoft is certainly one of the most powerful global companies in the world and really on the forefront of AI transformation and investment, I'm interested in understanding specifically how you've been leading the Microsoft operations and your strategy in the region, with AI in particular being a fundamental factor in that.
Looking at how the future markets are and the future demand, listening to my colleagues here, understanding how AI is playing a very, very critical role. It makes the frontier firm term very relevant at this point in time. And I want to just give a small brief about what we mean about the frontier firm with Microsoft. So the year 2025 was the year where the frontier firm was born. And it is basically intelligence on GitHub. Yeah, it's readily available. It needs to transform how the business processes are done, and it actually rewires how all the operations is going. So the frontier firm happens in 3 phases. The first phase is human plus an AI assistant. The second phase is we start tapping and dialing into human agent ratio. We will start having digital colleagues with us at work that will definitely help address certain challenges, removing repetitive work and so on. And the top tier is actually when we reach what we call human, the agent OS, where it's human-led, agent operated. And you will see new terminologies in the future of business. You will see the digital labor. You will see departments looking after intelligent resources and so on. So this is how the future has already started. I think most of the companies are using an AI system or scale. So this all boils down to the capacity. Yeah. And we had a small study, a big study at Microsoft, and we found out that 80% of workforce and leaders say they don't have enough time to perform the regular work processes they do in their day-to-day. They lack the time, the morale goes down, the energy, all of that. And funny enough, also 80% of leaders say that they need and they see that they are highly digital agents, which brings us to the core of what skills do we need. And the main skill that is at core of all of this change is the AI literacy. And when we say AI literacy, we're not saying AI that is confined to IT organizations and IT department within an organization. We're speaking about, again, an agnostic industry role in the IT. So for example, a marketing specialist who knows how to use AI in their day-to-day business, who is comfortable and open to using this and an AI colleague agent at work will outpace and outperform a marketing specialist that is not using that AI. So this is how the frontier firm looks like, and that's how the future is built around this kind of operations.
Thank you. Just to follow up on that, it sounds like Microsoft is really going through all its workflows and saying what workflows are most kind of open to AI and agents usage. Is that an accurate statement? And the reason I'm asking that is, as agents become more prevalent, what is the human's role in that? How do they interact with the agent? What is their responsibility with agents?
It's everywhere, in every role, in every department, in every organization within Microsoft. Okay. I myself am creating my own agents to be able to address some repetitive work, and free up my time to do more important things, It's very well known that the agentic AI have replaced almost 50% of code writing, and this makes us take one step back and look at the bigger picture and what kind of roles and what kind of talent we need to build for future markets and for future demands. So it's absolutely everywhere. In HR, for example, much of repetitive work is being placed by agents. We have an AI agent called Ask HR in the organization, which is absolutely doing all the heavy lifting of answering all the questions, addressing the day-to-day inquiries and so on. And we at Microsoft, we are so happy to share experiences. Like we even bring our own resources as customer zero. And we share that with companies. Like I have an upcoming trip to South Africa in February, where we are actually bringing the HR leader for Africa to speak to our customers there about how they can transform their business, especially within the HR organization, just tapping into that intelligence.
Perfect. And this kind of leads into, I think, skills, and I want to kind of get some information from each of you, but it sounds like you're going to have what humans need to do in that agentic environment is orchestrate, right?
Right.
And that's a very different set of skills than necessarily doing the task. And so is that an accurate statement?
Absolutely.
Okay. So if I could, Wyatt, for Concentrix, obviously AI is, I'm sure, very much affecting your business. What are the types of skills, what are the types of things that you're doing to transform Concentrix?
Well, I mean, first of all, in 2025 for Concentrix was a great year in terms of AI in general. We have introduced new products within AI, and again, relying on the huge demand we're seeing from our clients in that sense. And in my opinion, that is a great support to the quality and the experience that we're trying to uplift for the customers of our clients. And that is definitely something, once again, in my opinion, is not going to replace people, rather than to partner or to enable us in a better way to manage those tasks and, to get the job done the way it should be. Now, in terms of the skills that you were referring to, we are more into the, tech-savvy kind of skills where we're looking for digital fluency kind of skills. And again, the adaptability required is crucial. Along with the project management and the process management, that is something back to the term that you used in terms of orchestrating the situation here. So those are the main skills that we're looking for. Part of it is on the technical side, the other part on the soft skills side, because eventually the world is changing and our industry is too dynamic to the level that you need to be ready for such kind of changes. I mean, once again, in those different kind of AI solutions that we do have, whether it's robotic process automation or conversational AI or generative AI, agentic AI, there would be, different kind of advanced skills that you're gonna need. But eventually the main skills that I just mentioned earlier would be the crucial ones for the growth and the demand coming from the market.
That adaptability, I think, is key, right? We as humans so had to respond to the changes. And it's something that we can get better at, I think, because change is hard.
Yep.
So that adaptability is critical. Thank you very much. Rakan, you had mentioned earlier just that digital transformation. So what are the skills you're focusing on at Iron Mountain to differentiate the company?
You know, last year we have launched our last edition of our platform inside DXP, inside Digital Experience platform. And it's all about not just securing workflows and building workflows, it's about letting AI handle its part of it, you know. And one of the main things that we are talking about that you can build workflows the way you want and with the minimal experience in coding, let's say. And this by itself gives you the ability that you don't need a very, very expert guy to build a simple workflow, you know, because it's very friendly. At the same time, this platform can help you optimizing your work. You're not just automating your work, like automating an onboarding process or whatever it is. No, you can even, like, it's like speaking to the platform it is, and asking the platform to do some operational work for you, and the system will simply do it, you know. And by this, it will reflect on the clients to make a good use of AI in order to accelerate our work, you know, increase our productivity. Because in the end, AI is not taking over the human role; it's just accelerating its work. So what we focus on is on the growth mindset and the talents. We are focusing on the talents that can handle this kind of building. You know?
Thank you very much. I want to shift a little bit and talk a bit about how you build this ecosystem, whether it be Jordan or the broader MENA region. And specifically, I wanted to ask a little bit about, in my view, and I think you would share this based on our previous conversations, government can be an enabler and helping to lay the groundwork, building these kind of strong business ecosystems. So I'm curious, as you look forward, how would you like government-run kind of workforce initiatives? What would be the ideal for you to support this business growth? And particularly in terms of access to talent. So if we could, Heb, I'd like to start with you. And just how can governments, whether it be the US government or perhaps the Jordanian government, how can they be a great partner and an enabler in building these hubs in this ecosystem?
Absolutely critical. When governments act like a partner, not only a regulator, I think lots of success happens in that area. It's not a secret that a public-private partnership, when it works well, it creates the right traction, and I can see that this is working very well here in Jordan. We can see how Moody, in specific, is partnering with organization like Relation One, let's say, and organization like Relation One, in building a pipeline of talent that would be aligned with the future market demands and so on. Having that said, and having that very, very strong foundation, which is one of the main attractions for Jordan, I think there is a bigger opportunity for a more transformative evolution. And that is, if Jordan needs to position itself as a global hub, I think they need to center that around diversity. And when I say diversity, I'm not referring to gender diversity, and I'm referring to global talent. And if we look at the Irish experience, where Jordan is very adamant on repeating and scaling into that. And the Irish experience is one of the major growth accelerators in the globe, yeah. And it is not about only about the tax incentives, the commercial benefits, and so on. It's about how you are able to attract global talent to come and work in your country and to be able to thrive, grow, and live. And that mandates more tapping around to the labor laws, mobility frameworks, and so on. And I think that would be an excellent opportunity for Jordan to unlock that bottleneck and do that skill. Because when you have that diverse work field, yeah, you give the global companies the chance to anchor culturally and to scale, you know. And when you have this cross-pollination of knowledge transfer, experiences, multilingual, and so on, I think that is a power multiplier. I'm happy, for example, here at Microsoft, honestly, like one of my team members, he relocated from Mauritius to Jordan. He was given 3 options. He was given Milan, he was given Bucharest, and he was given Lisbon. I thought he would go for Lisbon. Interestingly enough, he chose to come to Jordan. And he is such great talent that is really impacting the whole Jordan hub in our customer success unit. Okay, so that's my 2 cents.
Rakan, I'm curious, you had mentioned you would use the term open, open mindset. When you look at how private industry and U.S. companies can partner with governmental entities around workforce initiatives, are there certain things you would be looking for in particular?
Actually, he has covered it all, but I believe that the partnership between the government and the private sector and the U.S. company is very critical and very mandatory in order to grow this, as well as having the suitable frameworks in place, policies that can encourage more into growing these talents and mindsets in order that, and of course that will reflect on how things go for sure. Yeah. So as he has mentioned, that this partnership is very important, and because it's good to see how many of the global are relocating to Jordan to help in building this companies, and reflecting their experiences, which will reflect as well on the talents and how they are growing.
Mike, would you like to share your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think what is great today about the ecosystem here and the partnership that we're talking about is the open channels that we see already there. And I think from our own experience, government support and the kind of partnership we still have, played a crucial and major role in the success of Concentrix and other organizations that I'm aware of in Jordan. With DigiSkids today in Moody, and again, Jordan Source has a program where we get the chance to promote those success stories of different kind of companies and, talents in the country. I think we do have the right platform to build on that. And now when it comes to the talents itself, I think what the government might need to keep focusing on, the demand of the market is changing every day. And for that reason, we need to shift our campus towards different kinds of talents and to prepare them for the demand that we're seeing. So the supply that we're creating through different channels, the many universities, training academies, or DigiSkills or others, it's important to have this connection between the demand of the market and the outcomes of our education system, so we can support it with the needed talents. On top of that, and one last point, I think my colleagues have covered everything pretty much, is the way we need to keep promoting Jordan as a country and the success stories that we do have. I think if you started your question maybe today, this man asking about beyond coast, I think Jordan is Compared to the Gulf region, it's competitive, it takes a cost. But if you want to compare it with other bigger ecosystems like India, Philippines, or even Egypt in the Middle East, we cannot compete there. But what we do have as a quality, it's something that this is our value proposition, and we need to focus on that and to keep promoting those kind of values. This is our seat.
Thank you so much. In a previous conversation, you would use the term that Jordan's oil is its people, is its talent. So I think that kind of sums that up. I just wanted to, because we're running a little bit low on time, and I didn't want to check in. Right, so we have about 5 minutes. So I thank you. First of all, thank you so much for this conversation. It's so enlightening. But I wanted to kind of end just on a couple of macro questions. The first one is, what does scaling look like for each of your businesses over the next 2 or 3 years? What are you anticipating? We've kind of talked about what you need to scale in terms of talent and so forth, but just curious how you're looking at that, what your plans are strategically to kind of drive continued scaling over the next 2 to 3 years. So, Rakan, I'll start with you.
Over the coming years, we are accelerating, expanding with our digitization services and solutions that we are providing. Not just and information governance as well, that we are planning to go further with that. In the coming years, I believe that there will be a big growth the field itself and in our company and how it's seeing things going on in Jordan, And I'm really looking forward to those coming years for sure, yeah.
More about the HARC strategy and the strategy of upskilling and reskilling the current workforce, because we are not replacing the workforce, as my colleagues mentioned earlier. We are trying to upskill and reskill them to the future of how business is wired. AI literacy remains at core for the many roles that we hire for, and definitely like looking at the region, even if Microsoft is not building a data center in Jordan, for example, but Microsoft is investing $80 billion building data centers across the globe, and here in Jordan, strategically, we are positioned in a way that we can serve this region with the right talent and build around that. So here we're strategically positioned and strategically relevant as well from culture.
So I believe it has been covered pretty much in all aspects, but maybe if you want to scale, you have to have the right balance between talents, technology, and maybe cultural alignments. When it comes to the talent, we need to keep investing in our talents. We need to keep developing those talents. We need to retain the strong talents that we do have. This is a key for us to keep scaling and grow. When it comes to the technology, with the changes that we're seeing, we need to keep evolving and developing our muscles and technology set up in order to scale up and to catch the recent updates that we're seeing in the market. I believe those two main elements are once again fundamental for any kind of scale that you need. You need always to balance between the talent investment and the technology investment.
Fantastic. Well, I think that concludes our panel today. I wanted to, again, thank all three of you for your insights and for being here today, and most importantly, the incredible work you're doing in Jordan and the region.